You know that feeling when an argument in your relationship just erupts out of nowhere? One minute things are fine, the next it's total chaos. Well, what if I told you there's a way to understand this? And it comes from, of all places, physics. It sounds a little wild, I know, but stick with me, because this one idea could completely change the way you see your partner and yourself.
And that brings us to the core question of this whole thing. Why is your partner your chaos mirror? I mean, what does that even mean? If you can wrap your head around this one idea, it can literally shift every single interaction you have with them. So, let's dive in.
Okay, so let's start with that problem we all know too well, the argument that seems to have no beginning. The concept here is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly profound. Your partner acts as an instant mirror. They don't just reflect what you say or do. They reflect the chaos you're feeling on the inside, a lot of times before you even realize it's there.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever come home from a super stressful day at work, you haven't said a single word about it, but within minutes, your partner is suddenly on edge, or they seem irritable for like no reason at all? That right there is the chaos mirror in action. It's that immediate, almost spooky reflection of your own inner state.
So how in the world does this actually work? Well, this isn't just some nice-sounding psychological theory. The source material actually frames this as a kind of relational physics. To really get it, you have to start seeing your relationship as its own little universe, a system of two that operates under some very specific and very predictable laws.
The first rule we need to understand is that your relationship is what's called a closed system. In science, that means energy can't really escape. For a relationship, that's huge. It means you're both in the same bubble. Every mood, every unspoken thought, every bit of energy you put out directly and immediately impacts the other person. Nothing just disappears.
And that brings us to the second, and maybe most important rule, entropy. This is a real law of physics, and it basically says that any closed system, if you just leave it alone, will always move towards more chaos and disorder. So think about what that means for your relationship. The default setting is chaos. If you do nothing, if you don't actively put in energy to create order, it will naturally drift into conflict.
All right, so this slide breaks it down perfectly. You have two forces you can use. On the left, you've got what the source calls negative choice, or V-. This is when you inject chaos into the system. Think criticism, blame, fear. When you do that, your partner has no choice but to mirror that disorder back to you. But then look at the right, creative intention, or V+. This is the opposite. This is you consciously adding a force of order, things like love, acceptance, that actually reduces the chaos. You get to be the one who decides which force enters the system.